morning and woke up, and my wife's like, "Did you eat the other sub?" Like, I didn't even know there was two. I only saw the half, and she's like, "Yeah, there was a sub and a half in the fridge." I'm like, I only had the half.
Unless I'm sleep eating.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a second one, and then the kids are like, "Oh, we didn't eat it." It's like, yeah, no, whatever.
You wake up with mustard all over your face, like, I'm innocent. What?
Just wake up with a sub in the bed. Don't even know.
That's right. No, honey, it's not what it looks like.
I am going to avoid making all of those jokes.
I was just watching the Meg.
Oh, fuck.
Ruby Rose made me do it.
Yeah, it's been that kind of week.
All right, let's retweet. Ticky-tappy-typey. It's really nice having a mouse that I can use the middle button on now. It's appreciated. Before I'd click the middle button, it would click like 3 or 4 times. Like tabs are opening and closing. It's just like, what the scrolling all over the screen. First world problems.
Yeah.
Okay, since we had a super long outcast, are you guys ready to start recording? Start doing the
Start
thing?
recording like we haven't been doing that for 30 fucking minutes already.
Patreon.com/E1M1, the wonder numbers. Okay. Are we ready?
No, I'm never ready.
Okay.
I'm born ready, motherfucker.
The last episode of TVGP.
There's that hip-hop coming through again.
That's right.
Okay. Sorry, just before we go.
Yes.
Just before we go live, I should say, for the actual recording, I want to give a big fuck you to Rob for calling me the whitest of white folk. And
that's me, Rob.
Also, crackhead skinny.
I mean, it does paint a real picture, but I'm not sure that it's the most flattering of comments.
I just wanted to throw those two out there. Peak white folk, I believe, was used several times to describe me this weekend, which I don't think I can really mention that during the show, so I figured I'd get that out of the way now.
Yeah. How dare you, Rob? All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, your source for fake PS5 announcement tweets. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
Can you craft your best fake PS5 announcement tweet? Go.
Okay. Coming this holiday, the second most powerful console that you've ever seen.
Perfect. And joining us, as always, is the Nimp.
Hey.
How about your fake PS5 announcement tweet?
It'll be less than $600.
Perfect. I love it. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. We recorded a hell of an outcast this week. Probably one of our longer ones we've done in a while. And we catch up on a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're not yet a patron, $5 a month is the recommended tier. You'll get that, Old Dog New Flicks, early access to We Rogue Like It, the outcast we're already talking about, polls, a whole bunch of other stuff, and access to all the archives. So not only can you get this week's stuff, but now like hundreds of hours of previous stuff. So go check that out. I think that's it. A brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks on the public feed right now. Go check that out.
And on the Patreon feed too. Get your latest edition there as well.
That's right.
I'm really hyped up about this month's movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm confused because it's Palindrome Day today when we do the recording, so it's just like, but yeah, this month's, I'm really excited about this movie because it might actually be an ODNF movie that my wife likes.
Perfect. All right, so let's get started with you, Moonpeer.
Okay. Shall I do good to bad or bad to good?
Let's do bad to good. Let's end on a high note.
Okay, bad to good. Let's start with tracks, build it, race it. If you follow me on Twitter, this is one of those games that starts with Moonpeer has started this game, and the very next tweet in my timeline is Moonpeer has completed this game.
Aha.
because it was 79 cents on the Xbox store. So, of course, Jess bought it. I beat it in like an hour.
Okay.
It's a slot car game.
Ah, okay.
Where like you can build like slot car tracks and then put slot cars in there and race them around.
Just like
and if you go
Yakuza 0.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the end of this section of the show, for me, if you want a good slot car game, go buy Yakuza 0.
There you go.
If you want a terrible slot car game, buy Tracks, Build It, Race It.
Yeah.
Because it's a bad game.
Yeah.
There's like 2-button controls. It's like, well, technically it's 1-button control, which is accelerate, right. And then you let go of it when you get near a corner, and then you pull it all the way down again when you get to the thing. I mean, it looks good. Honestly, it looks like a mobile game that's just been ported to the consoles, sure. And that's fine. That's the generation that we're in these days.
Right.
For the longest time, I thought you couldn't pause the game because I'm hitting the start button, and nothing is happening. It's like, I want to restart the race. I've gone off the track 5 times. I just need to beat this stupid AI driver to get my stupid achievement, and then I'll be done. B is pause. B is pause.
Naturally.
Cool.
Once you finish the race, if you click you don't want to restart the race, it kicks you back to the main menu and makes you sign in again.
Wow.
It's
an hour
79-cent game.
Yeah, like it's an hour
Yes.
and less than $1, so thankfully your suffering was short.
Yes, literally my notes are easy 1K, hot garbage, avoid.
Yeah.
This is not like the Train Tracks Build It, Race It game where that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
This is really, really bad. It has 4 slot car models. 4.
Wow.
And let me just I'm going to throw out what's going to sound like gibberish for you guys.
Okay.
I'm assuming it will sound like gibberish for you two specifically. I'm assuming someone in the audience will understand these. Spa-Francorchamps, Interlagos, buzz in when you know what this is, by the way, fellow hosts.
They're Kingdom Hearts game titles.
Nope. Kota.
They're enemies in Kingdom Hearts.
That's right. Not enough X's.
Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona.
Yeah, I know.
Is
This one
that
might-
translated to English?
The next one might give it away. Silverstone.
Okay.
Still no idea?
No,
Nope.
no clue.
Companies that make slot cars?
Racetracks across the world?
Ding, ding, ding!
There we go.
We have a winner. These are all the Formula One tracks,
Ah.
which I was. It
Now with
tells you how
slots
bad.
in them.
Yeah, it tells you how bad I am because I'm literally. It's like you picked the Australia map and you're driving around. It's like this track seems familiar. This layout seems familiar.
It's like driving on Monaco where you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's like just slot car tracks, and I was like, this Belgium one looks familiar too. Which the Belgian one, by the way, that's Spa-Francorchamps. Interlagos is Brazil. These are all literally the Formula One tracks, and the slot cars tracks are laid out in the exact same layout as the Formula One tracks.
That's kind of fun, though.
But they can't be called by the official name because that's a license issue.
Ah, I see.
So it's literally just UK, Spain,
Right.
Brazil, so on and so forth. They don't have a Formula One slot car. It's all like a Mustang and then something else. It's
Right.
give me an open wheel slot car at least if you're going to go
At least
down
make
this
it like
rabbit hole.
look kind of like one.
The game is not great.
Don't
Hey,
do
if
it.
you like achievements, go
Right.
for it. It's an hour of your time and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's
If
our motto.
you don't, if you do, speaking of fun for a fiver,
That's
if you don't like achievements, just avoid it. It's not worth your time. Just
you don't need this in your life.
yeah, just go away, stupid game. I went back to Snake Pass. So I stopped playing Snake Pass when I unlocked the last world in the game.
Right.
That last world is it's difficult. It's sweary hard. Not the game developer sweary.
Right.
It's foul language hard.
Right.
Like really, really difficult. And when you take like a 6-month break from a game that has really interesting and unique controls,
Yeah.
that just multiplies the effect. It's still a great game. It's still fun. It's still cute. Maybe stop playing when you get to the final world because it just goes insane at that point.
Yeah, just enjoy the good times.
Yeah, but Snake Pass is on Game Pass, so as such, it does get more verified Game Pass award.
Snake Pass, Game Pass?
Written and highlighted and circled in green in my notes, just so everybody knows. It's a good game. It's quick. No, it's not quick. It's fun to play. It's fun to control. It's unique. Give it a shot. See how you feel. That is my final verdict on Snake Pass. Snake Pass, Game Pass. Lots of passes. Like I'm in Formula One. Wait, no, Formula One doesn't have passing. Quick shout out to the Great January Achievement Race.
Oh boy, yeah.
I've got to get my influencer on here.
Around the world in 80 achievements.
Yes. So, without realizing it, we kind of started an achievement war between my wife and I over the month of January. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, we both... 38,000 for the year of 2019 was a disappointing number for me, considering my gamer score is almost 500,000. So why not start 2020 with a bang and just start slamming out those games? This is where last week's pre-show talk about the list came in, where it's like, I need to start uninstalling some of this stuff. So, third place was 4,495 gamer score. Mm-hmm. Second place was me with 9,825 gamer score.
Jesus.
And first place was my wife with 10,055 gamer score. Oof. So Jess takes the January gamer score race, and my immediate thought was looking at that leaderboard. It was hashtag couple goals, hashtag power couple, hashtag Instagram life, because you've got to have all the hashtags.
Yeah, van life.
Yes, but it's dumb and it's stupid, but it feels good to just knock out a bunch of games. Just I'm done with that uninstall. I'm done with that
Cross
uninstall.
them off the list.
That uninstall. Exactly.
Yeah.
The sooner I can get that red line through that list, the happier I'll be.
I've been watching Arrow. I know how to cross stuff off a list really angrily.
Mm-hmm. But you just remember that you need to hold it over the flame first, so you can get the invisible ink to show up.
And then I need to say, "You failed this city."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You failed this console.
Right.
That one goes out specifically to Trax, build it, race it.
Build it, race it. You failed my console.
Dead by Friday took place, as always. Justin, Jason, and Rob were shout out to the guys for showing up. And I feel really bad because I always forget Jason's name. Like, I know T, I know Brady, so that's Rob and Justin, because I talk to them on a least weekly basis at this point. And then Jason shows up, and I can never remember his name, ever. And I feel bad, Jason, because it's like, anytime I forget his name, two things pop into mind. It's Remember the Name by Fort Minor, because it's a song about remembering somebody's name, and I constantly forget his name. Okay. And as soon as I do get his name, it's, I should remember this. Every time I get told his name is Justin, is Jason, I should remember this, because
we should get you post-it notes.
Yes, it's the heavy rain joke of press X to Jason, and every single time it's like it's Jason. His name is Jason. It's like, I always make the joke, press X to Jason as soon as they say his name. Why I don't remember it, I don't know. I feel bad, but yes, fun times were had by all. Apparently, Jason's internet is amazing because he downloaded a 13 gigabyte update in like 20 minutes. It's like, okay, man, whatever's going on there, that. Sure.
That's what it means to live by a server.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. Dead by Friday, join in, send me a message, let's play some Dead by Friday. I'm good with that fun stuff. Let's see, Astroneer. Speaking of the crossing names off a list process, I love Astroneer. I've sunk so many hours into Astroneer, and I literally got to the end game and then stopped playing.
Right.
So I'm going back to Astroneer to finish playing it, so I can uninstall it. In the process, however, it has been updated like 10 times. Ooh. They did a multiplayer update, so now the multiplayer runs a lot smoother. I know it does because I was just messing around on my base, and then this gold thing was in the corner of my screen spinning around. It's like, what the hell is that? And I turn around, and it's Rob, who's joined in and is breakdancing behind me. And I didn't have like a frame of lag or issues or anything like that. I was like, okay, they definitely improved the multiplayer in this.
Yeah.
Because it's like this, just literally he's wearing like this bright shimmering gold like bodysuit for his Astroneer thing. And it's just like, okay, I don't know what that thing is spinning, but sure, okay, it's Rob. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Rob.
Interesting. So we played a little bit of that. That was before Dead by Friday. And I'm going to do my best to wrap Astroneer up in a bundle and shoot it into space and just get it done with.
Right.
Because I'm so close to just being done with it. And then they added jetpacks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So now there's really cool jetpacks. And because I'm basically at the end game, Rob showed up and was like, oh, did you know they added jetpacks? And I was like, no. So he just took all of my materials and made me 2 jetpacks. And now we're just flying around the planet.
That's
like,
awesome.
Okay, cool. Man. So, Astroneer, go play it. Nimp, don't play it with your kid. Don't play it with your kid. It's got that whole deforming of terrain thing going on.
I already have enough issues with No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
My daughter discovered that as well.
Oh, no. Yeah. The thing with Astroneer is like it looks so cute as well. It looks so cool, so well designed.
Yeah.
And then someone pulls out the stupid space gun and vacuums the floor from underneath you, and you're just like, great, now I'm falling 60 feet to a pit of death.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. But yes, Astroneer, I'll get it done sooner or later. It's still really fun. Demon's Tilt.
Yeah, I meant to play this week, and I didn't have much time to play anything.
Yeah, I think the Hannah I think it was the Hannah who posted on Twitter about how metal it is, and I can't believe I did make that reference.
Yep.
Yeah, it's super metal.
Yeah, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That's like a direct homage to the like the TurboGrafx 16 pinball games, like whatever the 2 pinball. I think it's 2 pinball games that were on there. That Demon's Crush.
TurboGrafx, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Demon's Crush, I think, was one of them, and they're famous for being this like really early, super metal-looking pinball stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
you
really
sent me the soundtrack too, and it's like, yes, they're using the Genesis chip. Holy crap!
It's 100% Golden
Yeah, that's
Axe.
just Golden Axe.
I'm not gonna lie, like, because I sent you the soundtrack in Discord, and then you sent me the Golden Axe soundtrack back.
Yep. I'm
not gonna lie, I did open them both and listen to one for about 30 minutes, and then the other for about 30 minutes.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they're literally just using the same chipset, basically.
The soundtrack's really good.
It is.
Yeah.
You know what that means, though? It means Golden Axe had a killer soundtrack.
Well, I mean, it definitely did, yeah.
Yeah, it really did. But yeah, it's fun. It's a pinball game. I'm getting a bit more used to the pinball physics now because every pinball game has its own physics.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it now. I'm getting used to the modes, the chaos and the anarchy that just happens when a multi-ball happens and there's bullet hell shooter going on at the same time. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll
do
wait
my
for the
best.
priestess and get told, well done, Paladin, 56,000 times. I'm fine with that. But, you know, it's a good, fun, stupid little game, and it's on Game Pass, so it costs you nothing. Give it a go and enjoy them chill Golden Axe vibes. Because that soundtrack is amazing. Like,
really good.
It's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the composer, but it's really good.
Yeah, I think it might be all done by basically 1 or 2 people as well. Like, it's a 1 or 2 person game, and at first, when I loaded it up, it was like, oh, it's a pinball game. I wonder how many tables it's going to have. And I was expecting like 6 tables because Pinball FX has ruined me now.
Yeah.
But, you know, even if it's just 1 table, it's a small team. It's a small group, I think. And they've done a good job on it. Like, they've done a genuinely good job in making this cool, fun little table. Don't like the difficulty spike on the outer lanes if you go on EX mode. It changes those outer lanes to basically be like, bye, see you later, balls.
Right.
But it's good. I'm not going to complain about no other tables in there when literally they've done a solid job with the one. So I'm fine with that one. Let's see. After Demon's Tilt, which you should all go out and play because it's free. Hint, hint. My final game this week is Apex Legends.
Yeah.
So, with all of the other season passes, Apex Legends is like, here is your weekly challenges to complete during the course of this season pass. And it's like, here is 16 weeks worth of challenges that will unlock week by week by week.
Mm.
And when the last week hits, that's when the season pass ends. So me, being a giant idiot, thought, well, I've still got like 4 weeks to play Apex to finish off my season pass.
I got plenty of time.
Weeks. Plenty of time. I can do that on my vacation. I can get those 13 levels that I'm missing.
Play nothing else.
Yeah, I can. Honestly, it's not that hard to get the season pass levels in it. I can do that. That's fine. Then I saw a tweet from them being like, oh, the beginning of February is when the season pass ends and the new one drops.
Right,
like,
season 4, ready to go.
I was like, wait, no, that's a lie because I've still got 3 weeks worth of challenges after that week on my current season pass.
Mm.
And then I went in and checked. Sure enough, the season pass ends in 1 day.
You lost like 3 weeks somewhere.
Sure enough, there is still 3 weeks worth of challenges listed underneath. I was like,
oh boy.
Great. So I've got this was like last week. So I was like, I have a week to get 13 season pass levels to get to level 100 and to get my premium currency back so I can just immediately dump that straight into the new season.
Right.
Because I'm not going to throw $10 into it just so I can get the $2 I need to get the next season pass.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can do this. So I started, and my wife helped on one of the days while I was at work. I think two days she just ground out a couple of challenges for me. And I got to level 100. I finally got to level 100 in a season pass, which I haven't done so far. And my notes here says, serves me right for taking a month-long break. I think it was actually like a 2-month-long break from the game, but sure.
Right.
But no, I got the level 100. I got the funny dive emotes for Pathfinder where he's getting attacked by a crow. I got the first of the skins. And I'm happy with that. And then tomorrow I get to start this whole dance over again when the new season pass drops and the new character drops. And I think I also have enough of that currency to get that character immediately as well. So,
cool. Are they changing the map in season 4?
I don't know. I hope not, because I kind of like this map. I think if they continue to do it like a year per map, like
I
would work
was wondering if they were like, the train crashed on the map, and it's like, still the same map, but it's changed somehow.
They do that with all of the events. Like now in the Hollow Days celebration that was done by...
So good.
Don't laugh at that. Stop laughing at it.
It's so good. I love it. I love a good pun.
During that event, there was a spaceship. Not a spaceship. Like a big, basically, cruise ship looking thing that was floating in the sky, and it was full of mirages and mirage holograms and stuff like that. And then you hit the button and it starts the party and it plays music and fires fireworks out. That is on the map now too.
Okay.
So like every time they do one of these events, they kind of leave the thing on the map that
cool,
spans out a little bit.
Right.
I don't know if you'll still be able to start the party, and because it's so loud. And every time I'm on that thing and someone starts the party, it's a big explosion, fireworks and loud dance music and a bunch of holograms dancing. It's just like, every time I poop myself a little bit. It's just like, come on. But no, I got my season pass up.
Your season pass?
Yes, my season pass is now passed. So, well, it will be passed in about 12 hours. Once 12 hours is passed, my season pass will be passed.
Right.
I haven't seen the new trailer, but from what I've heard, they did a hilarious thing where they were talking about one person being the new hero.
Yeah, it showed him for like a week. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the latest trailer, that person got killed by the real new hero.
Yep.
So...
really good trailer that I sort of wish a bunch of video game sites hadn't put, hey, the new Apex Legends character gets killed by the real character in the title. It's just like... just say, like, new Apex Legends character gets announced, and just, that was true, and then he gets killed.
Yeah. So,
it's fun.
Mad props on them for doing stuff like that, like, to just playing with it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done it a lot. Like they've done this really. Every new character, they've put little teasers into the world about what's going on. Like,
and I think there was, from what I read, there was like a data mine about this guy where everyone's like, of course this guy's coming next. Like, there's all this stuff in the files. And Respawn was like, no, it's this dude. Like, we have a new trailer, we got all the websites updated and everything, and then a week later...
They had a live stream where they talked about the new character's abilities and what he'd be able to do and stuff like that. And then a week later,
it's like, nope, gotcha.
Yeah. Mad props to them for that stuff. And, good on them for keeping it a secret as long as they actually did.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess I'll be back on my stupid Apex train. And the literal Apex train, because the new map has a train going around it.
But you got a week on vacation. Like, there's no better thing to do. Just kind of turn half of your brain off and shoot stuff.
Start with a bang.
Yeah. Start at rank 1.
Mm-hmm. Rank 1 on the season pass. Let's see how quickly I can get up to 100 and kill myself.
That's right.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. A little bit of a lot.
All right, Nimp, how about your last 2 weeks?
I was going to say, I think in the last 2 weeks, I still have not managed to play as many games as Moon.
I thought you were going to say, I still haven't finished Cold Steel 3, and I was like, wait a minute.
No. No, that game is done.
Yeah.
All right, so the first game that I played, and Moon's going to love this, Atelier, Ryza, Ever Darkness, ampersand, The Secret Hideout.
JRPGBS. Got it.
Yep. Scribble.
So this is one of the games I got over the holidays, and I just started picking it up because, hey, FF7 got pushed back, so I got time for another JRPG maybe.
Right.
We'll find out.
Shout out, by the way, for the cloud and address images that's coming out.
Have you watched the new trailer, Moon?
I haven't. No, I'm not watching anything to do with that game. I don't need another game to buy.
Dude, the new trailer is really good.
Yeah.
It's very not spoilery, but like...
Dude, it's a 20-year-old game. Who cares if it spoils?
Trust me, there's a considerable amount of stuff that has been added to this game that's already been spoiled, which is I think it's fine, but man, does that game look stupid good. Like,
it really embraces certain areas, and I'm really glad that they did it. And they, at least what little bit we've seen, it seems like they do it in a mature and funny way.
Yeah, like the revamped Honeybee Inn stuff looks, number one, it looks like a cool actual building, and then two, the way that in the trailer they address that whole sequence seems like it's matured significantly from 1997. Which I would hope it would be, because... we've come a long way.
I'm still just looking forward to finding out if they're going to let Barrett refer to himself as a terrorist. Because that plays a whole bunch different in 2020 than it does in 2001 or whatever it was.
It will be interesting how heavily they lean into Avalanche's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, Atelier Ryza.
Yes. So... I feel like with this version of the game compared to Sophie, which I played on Steam, that they kind of cut a lot of corners with this game in a weird way.
What are you playing it on for this one?
I'm playing it on PS4.
Okay.
But then I also feel that they've beefed it up in a lot of different ways. So I feel like the characters in the game, the random NPCs that are throughout the game, if they are moving... you run right through them and they kind of disappear a little bit.
Okay.
Which is odd. Not everyone talks in this game, which is fine. But again, with NPCs, like there's only like maybe a handful of NPCs you can talk to on the map at any given time.
Okay.
Which I'm okay with, because a lot of times it's just useless text. It's not even really flavor text.
I love living in Windmill City. It's like, I don't need to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't miss those days of JRPGs. I like it now when you're just walking through the open world and the speech bubbles come up as you're walking past them. Yeah. Like you don't have to interact with them anymore to get that.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what this is that a speech bubble will pop up and it'll let you know, hey, this person, you can talk to this person, but then it's just some random flavor text, or there'll be an actual icon over their head that says, hey, this person has something that you can do.
Oh, okay. So, that's nice.
Yeah. There is no English voice acting, which doesn't bother me at all. And
pretty
apparently
common nowadays.
Yeah, apparently this is the third game in the series that doesn't have English VO, which whatever, who cares?
We just want them localized, like.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to play it and try it out.
Yeah.
And there's only one place to save in the game. But
Okay.
But in the very beginning of the game, it seems like a really stupid choice until you get further into the game, and then it doesn't really matter that you can only save in one spot.
Is it basically like in your workshop?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that makes
I was
sense.
going to ask if it's like some rock on the ground, and then that whole section of the ground lifts up and turns into your airship or something, and then
That'd be
that's the only
great.
place you can save.
So, and then the fast travel in the very beginning of the game kind of sucks. You're limited to just fast traveling to these bulletin boards that are throughout this area, which is fine because it gets you to all the major areas, but you kind of have to remember the name of the areas, and there's different islands and stuff, and so that kind of sucks in the beginning. The recipes can also only be learned through continuing the story. You don't just stumble upon, like, there are some recipes that you can stumble upon, but they're usually, your alchemy level usually has to be a lot higher. Like currently mine's level 20, and there's still some recipes that I can't do because they're like 35, 40. So, but a lot of them are handed to you as you complete the story, which again, I don't really have an issue with.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up so much crap anyway that eventually when you get to that point, you'll be able to make it anyway.
I've got 200 of those mushrooms. No big deal.
Yeah. It also has fishing, but there is no mini game.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Bummer.
In a JRPG that has fishing but no minigame, if Dragon Ball Z Kakarot can get a fishing minigame in.
Yeah, like a JRPG without a fishing minigame is a mortal sin. Like that should not happen.
Again, I go back and forth on this because of the type of game. The game it's not your normal JRPG. You're supposed to be crafting stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to spend all this time playing a minigame as much as I may or may not enjoy it. You just want the item it's going to give you because you're picking up all of this and then all this other crap. And oh, look, there's a rock over here that I need to pick up. So,
but the fishing minigame usually has really good music. And that's kind of a bummer you're missing out on.
And I'm not going to lie, when I first started doing it, when I first made my fishing rod, I was trying to figure out what button I had to tap, because that's normally what the game is.
Yeah, wait for the exclamation mark to pop up, hit a button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You just walk up to the water hole, she throws her, fishing line out there, and then you caught whatever, and that's it. Which, all right, fine, whatever.
So this game is the bouncer, not Yakuza 0.
Yeah. Where it's, like I said, it feels like they kind of cut corners in weird ways.
Sure.
But as you play the game more, it kind of feels like they streamlined it in a weird way to make it easier so you're not wasting all this time collecting materials.
And this series continues to be semi-popular, but it's still a very niche series. So, like, you have to maximize your budget as much as you can, where it's like, cool, it's $50,000, $250,000 to make this fishing minigame, or you just spend a week making a little casting, and then hey, you caught a largemouth bass.
Here's the 5 things that you caught while you were doing this. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a reason Elite Dangerous didn't start with planet landing.
Right.
Yeah, and why we still don't have atmospheric landing.
I know. I'm so annoyed.
But anyway, so as the game progresses, your fast travel improves, where you go from being able to only fast travel to bulletin boards to you have a full map to select. You can select an area. It'll then drop down and show you, okay, these are the different areas you can go into in this area.
Cool.
And then there's a map. So if you're like me and you don't remember that the person you're supposed to talk to is actually in Old Town.
Right.
I don't remember that it's Old Town, but I remember what the map looks like for Old Town.
Yeah.
So I can just scroll through and find the mini map, and then I was like, okay, that's where I need to go. But then it also upgrades it to, you can just scroll through the map while you're fast traveling, and it'll tell you, hey, there's these 6 quests here that you can pick up, and then you just
really
go there. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's, like I said, it in the beginning, it feels like it's cutting corners, and then it streamlines everything, so it's a lot simpler and a lot easier for you to get into.
That's cool.
The pickup resources is for the most part as simple as, hey, there's a shining rocky head X, and you picked up 20 shiny rocks or whatever.
Right.
you eventually get to the point where you have to get what do they call it? Resource tools. Mm-hmm. Where, like your scythe, your hammer,
pickaxe,
your axe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These will allow you to pick up possibly different things at different resource points. So originally all you have is just your character's staff to hit things. Mm-hmm. But then when you get the scythe, instead of hitting a bush to get weeds or whatever, you use your scythe, and next thing you know, you have nameless medicine herb, which is an actual component name.
So like you're getting more the rarer versions of
with the different items. And if you go up there with an axe, you get something slightly different, and you may get a couple of the other things too.
Gotcha.
So it gives you a bunch of different ways for you to be able to get resources. So that's pretty sweet. But then they also really beefed up the combat in this game.
Ooh.
So when enemies are on the ground, just like Tails, where you can walk up, you can hit them, and then you can start your encounter.
The screen goes.
Yeah. Get the fun little battle music and everything. It's a 3-character party, which I just got my 4th character. So if I want to use her, I have to swap, characters out. Yeah, exactly. Yep. You can set up each of the characters to fulfill a different role: an attacker role, a defender role, or a support role. Mm-hmm. I haven't really messed with that a whole lot, but that kind of changes how the stats of your characters work in battle. Okay. So obviously the attacker will have more in their attack, defense, they're taking less damage, whatever. I haven't really run into any thing that seems hard, except for there's like randomly you'll find enemies that are bigger versions of the normal enemies.
Right.
And then you kind of know, hey, don't mess with this guy just yet.
Yeah. The JRPG thing of like, that's going to be some demonic version. It's like, they're too high level.
You go from doing like 10, 12 points of damage to doing 1 point of damage. Yeah. And they've got like 500 health. Right. So it's like, I've
ran
made a
into
mistake.
An FOE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way the battle works is that you have on the left side, it's a constant moving bar of icons for enemies in your party. Mm-hmm. And once whoever gets to a certain point, they can move and do their attacks, whatever. You only control one character. Between the 3, you can pick whichever one you're controlling, and the other 2 that you aren't controlling act by themselves. Okay. Which, for this game, isn't anything difficult. So a lot of times they just attack. You can use items, you can use skills, which require you to have AP, and you rack up AP by just doing normal attacks. Mm. If you fill out your AP diamond, you can hit the big touchpad button on your PS4 controller, and it will upgrade your tactics rating, which makes it so that instead of doing 1 attack, you can do 2 attacks now, and your skill attacks do a little bit more damage.
Oh, that's cool.
And it looks like I've only been able to get up to tactical level 3, but it looks like you can get up to 5 or 7 or something like that. Oh, but wow. I haven't run across anything that's lived long enough for me to get it that high.
Does it reset after every battle?
Yeah, that was literally going to be my next question. Yep. Was does it keep going, or is it?
It's not like a dungeon.
Yeah, but if you do your overworld attack on an enemy before you actually go into battle, you automatically get 10 AP, which is what you need to be able to get to level 2.
Okay, cool.
So as long as you're on top of where the enemies are at and you attack them before you actually go into battle, you can always bump up, which gives you a pretty big advantage. And it usually slows them down too. They're further back on the roster scale or whatever you want to call it, the timeline.
I need to play this game.
It's pretty fun. There's an item that you get early in the game that you can put it's, what do they call it? An item crystal or something like that. I don't remember, but any items that you make, you can put into this crystal, and then you can use them in battle. And you don't actually use the item like a bomb. Mm-hmm. It costs 2 CC to be able to use it, and depending on how many items you have in this crystal depends on how many CCs you have until you rest again. Mm-hmm. So since I have 3 items in this item crystal, I have 10 CC until to use until I rest. Yeah. To use a bomb, it costs 2 CC. So you're not actually using the item, so you can just make 1 bomb, throw it in this item crystal, and you can just keep tossing it until you run out of
That's
item
cool.
points, basically.
So it's kind of like a bag of holding / cloning, where it just clones the item when you take it out and you use it.
And if you only have one item in it, I know the first bombs I used were called uni bombs, which were just like really cheap bombs that I made, the first ones that you make. Mm-hmm. When I only had that in there, I had 20 CC in that diamond. Oh. So that's, and each of those used 2, so that's like 10 times I could use that before I had to rest.
Interesting.
And it does quite a bit of damage. It does stats. They also have the break mechanic in this game, where if you get their little bar far enough and break their armor concentration, whatever, it stuns the enemies and you start doing extra damage and stuff.
Nice.
The other cool thing that they do, go ahead.
Why are you selling Boston on this game? The more you talk about it, the more he's
telling me more. My JRPG backlog just continues to grow.
I haven't even gotten to the good part yet.
Oh man,
I can tell.
I'm waiting.
So, continuing with the battle, your other 2 party members will ask you to do things in battle, like, hey, cause magic damage, use an item, use a skill. If you do that, whoever shouted that out will do a follow-up attack once you've completed whatever they wanted you to do. Mm-hmm. And if you if both of your party members want you to use a skill and you use it, then they both do their follow-up attacks, which does quite a bit of damage. You can hit R2 at any time as long as you have the AP, and you can do what's called a quick attack, where you basically jump in front of the line at that moment, and you can start an attack. And if both of your party members have a call out for you to do something, and you do it during that quicken attack, it pulls out this other attack that does a lot of damage.
Oh, man.
So there's a lot more going on with combat in this game.
Yeah, it's nice that there's like a lot more strategy than just, I'm going to attack and you two you're going to defend and you're going to heal and we'll just go through the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. And I've gotten to the point now where I have the hideout in the title, secret hideout.
Yep.
And due to alchemy, I fixed this house, which is our hideout now, and I can change how it looks. I can put furniture in the game.
Oh, no.
And Please
tell me you don't hire people to work in your house. Please tell me you don't do that.
Not so far. You just make the stuff that you need through alchemy. However, there is a very, very suspicious empty lot right next to this house.
Oh, no.
Wait until you use your alchemy to invent Fultoning, and then Boston is 100% in.
Yeah. Go catch every monster in the game. It's like, oh, no.
So I'm really liking this game. It
sounds really good.
It's fun. It's great. I can't wait to play more of it. And that's actually that's what I've spent most of my time with. I have other games, but that's what I spend a lot of my time playing.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Around.
It sounds stupid good.
They also the actual alchemy that you're doing, they changed it. So it was originally a board that you were trying to do like a Tetris lineup with and all that stuff. They've changed it so that when you try to make an item now, it looks more like a sphere grid, and at each sphere they want you to put an item in.
Okay.
And so you've got your main one, like let's say you're making flour. So you have wheat that it wants you to put in there, but it wants you to have wheat that has lightning element in it.
Oh, okay.
All right, whatever. So you put the wheat with the lightning element in there, and then you've leveled up that one sphere, and then it unlocks the spheres around it. Oh, okay. So then you can continue, like, let's say the next thing is, this thing wants, like, a chestnut, but it has to have the wind element or whatever. So then you have to look to see if you have a chestnut with the wind element and add that in there. Or if you've got a ton of the flour or the wheat with the lightning element, you can just sit there and pump it all in there until I think you get 5 items so far that you can pump into your recipe before it'll make the item that you're trying to make. And the entire time you're trying to, keep your quality level up. If that's what you're going for, you can add different stats to whatever you're making so that it turns into like a healing item, or you can make it do more damage, depending on what you're making. There's all this other stuff you can throw in there. And Moon's just shaking his head.
No, because the more you talk about this, the more it makes me think of Disgaea.
Mm-hmm. The rabbit hole just goes deeper.
Yeah, where it's literally like you start the game and it's like, it's a cool little SRPG, and then you realize that there's
a lot more to it.
Yeah, and then you got, the people who you make, and then the people who you make have relationship with people, and then every single item in the game has a dungeon inside of it. And it's just like, oh no, what did I get into?
That's why I didn't play these games for so long, because I loved SaGa.
Yeah.
And the many, many hours I put into all of those games. So, crap, what was the other thing I was going to say? Synthesis. I don't remember. Oh, now I do. You can also do auto synthesis, where you click on the item that you want. As long as you have the materials, you hit R1. You can tell it either you want it to use your high quality items or low quality items, and it'll just go there and automatically fill out the recipe for you and make the item for you.
Nice.
So you don't have to sit there and keep messing around with trying to get
stuff in all these slots.
Yeah. So, yeah,
that sounds
really
good.
good game. Yeah, I really enjoy it so far.
Yeah.
So, next game that I played, and surprisingly, I wrote all of these in alphabetical order somehow.
Oh.
Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I heard your comment last week, Moon, about I'll be the one to buy Pillars of Eternia 2, because I will be. So,
well, sometimes you just get a feeling about somebody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just feel it. And I feel you, Nimb. I feel you a lot.
I've only got probably about 8 hours into this game so far. A lot of just pointless wandering around, just trying to get the feel for everything that's happening in the game. I have a full party. I do not have a home base so far, which I don't know if Baldur's Gate ever gives you one, because I don't remember getting one in Icewind Dale, but I haven't played Icewind Dale since it came out.
Yeah.
So, the traveling system, though, was something I wanted to talk about, because if you haven't played these games before, you get a map and you have icons on this map for places that you can go. And if it's a new place that you haven't been to before, it's kind of confusing on how you get there until you actually do it, and then all of a sudden it makes sense.
Okay.
So, let's say you're in a town on the very north part of the map, and you have an icon that shows up on the southwest side of your map, and you need to go there. You can't just leave the town and then be able to go there. You have to leave either to the south of town or to the southwest of town to be able to open up more icons so that you can keep traveling in that direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the daisy chain effect where you can't go from A to B. You need to go from A to the service station that's 200 miles away to get gas.
Yep.
And then, the rest stop after that to get food. And then the battle after that.
But if you leave town, like let's say you go to the north end of town and leave, you're not getting new icons to the west or southwest, you're getting new icons to the north.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you don't know that going in, you're going to be very confused on how to get anywhere in that game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I want to leave this city and go west, I always leave out the east exit.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, that's because you live in New York, where, I mean, we have Michigan lefts here, where if you want to turn left or turn right,
you go left
whatever.
3 times.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah.
Can't even think on how to do it out loud, and
That's over in England. That's a Skemersdale, right? Is to go left 3 times. So we have the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. But so I've got a full party. Started equipping spells on my mage, which he's only level 2, so he only has 2 slots. And as soon as I started collecting scrolls, I remembered that if it's a pre-existing spell on a scroll, I can write it in my mage's book. So now my mage has all of these spells, but only 2 slots that he can use per rest period.
Right.
Yep.
I love D&D.
He's a great scholar. He's a terrible wizard.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've used him to stab people with daggers more than I have casting spells, because I haven't. The way my party's set up, I've got 2 druids, a monk, a cleric, my mage, a thief, and a fighter. So before my mage, like, he's in the back because, proper party formation.
Yeah.
But before he even runs up there to stab somebody with his dagger, he's already dead, because my thief has probably already put 2 arrows into the thing. My druid, fighter, monk, and other druid are already there beating the crap out of this guy. So by the time he gets there, it's already gone.
Right.
And the funny thing is that I completely forgot about these games is when you do a critical, because there's still dice rolls in this game, and I have it set so that anytime anyone attacks, enemy or friend, you see the dice roll and you see what it adds up to and the FACO rating and all that fun crap.
Cool.
But anytime you do a critical, which is a natural 20 roll, your controller vibrates.
Yeah.
The screen shakes.
Yeah.
And whatever you hit just blows up. And I'm talking like Mortal Kombat, arm goes this way,
giblets everywhere.
legs go that way, yeah, and there's just a mess and a backpack for you to grab whatever items they had on them.
That's really good.
So,
really quick D&D aside, did you guys see the light up dice?
Yes.
They're
Super cool.
So cool.
Yeah, I wish I knew who did that so we could put a plug on the show. I don't know if they're producing them, but it's super cool.
I didn't even look. I can find them again and look. But yeah, I just got metal dice for the first time though, so one thing at a time.
You're the beginning of the problem.
No, I have a full Crown Royal bag of dice.
It's always a Crown Royal bag. I love it.
Always. I have every flavor, color, whatever. It's great. Anyway, so back to video games. The next game that I played, Battletech.
Oh no!
2018 Steam Game of the Year. No, I don't know if it actually is, but it's
up there.
It's the Elite Dangerous of mech games, and I knew this going in.
Oh no!
Yeah. Justin from the Tiltcast started playing Mech Warrior, which is the
arcade version.
Yeah, it's
Mech
still.
Assault. Yes, Mech Assault is the arcade one.
Or whatever. He's playing one of the mech versions of it.
Yeah.
He's not playing the Battletech version right now.
Right.
Obviously, I don't know the lore and all that stuff. I think I read one book from Mech Warrior, Mech Assault, whatever it is, like years ago. Yeah. But so he started playing that version, which is the more arcade version, first person. You're in the mech, walking around shooting things. Mm-hmm. Battletech is the SRPG,
the super hardcore.
Yes.
Outfit your Wanzer.
Yeah.
I miss Front Mission so much.
I know, me too.
I do
Front
too,
Mission 1 is so good.
Which is why I bought this game, because I really wanted to play Front Mission 3 again, and I didn't feel like opening totes to pull it back out. So, but yeah, this goes hardcore mech simulator. Like, you can choose where your weapons go. Mm-hmm. I watched a video which let me know that whatever weapons you have, make sure to put the ammo on the same part of your mech. That way, if they blow up the weapon, the ammo goes with it. Because if you put it somewhere else, there's two issues. It can, like say you have, I don't know, like a submachine gun on your right arm, but you put the ammo on the right leg and they blow up your right arm. One, you still have all that ammo weight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not using that ammo for anything else. Two, if someone shoots your leg, then there's the possibility that that ammo is going to blow up, which is going to damage the armor of that leg.
Yep. So good.
So
it's very much an Elite Dangerous. Please remember to assign firing groups to these weapons that you have, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to fire them.
So if you have a weapon that takes ammo, put the ammo with wherever that weapon is. That way, if they blow up that weapon, it blows up the ammo too, and it lightens up your mech. They have heat in this game, and they have heat sinks. And depending on the environment that you're in, depends on how much heat you collect and how efficient your heat sinks are.
Gotcha.
There's also weight. Believe it or not, smaller mechs can jump farther than bigger mechs if they have the proper jetpacks.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You can completely customize your mech to fit whatever role you want. So if you have a really, like one of the smaller mechs, you don't want to bog it down with lasers and missile launchers, because your really small mech is going to not move any faster than an Atlas, which is like the giant mech that's basically a Metal Gear on steroids.
Yeah, you want it to like run circles around the other dude.
I don't know how you play these games, but I play these games as the smallest, most heaviest, most heavily armored thing I can make, because I want it to be the little mech that could.
Right.
So I
I
have
don't really. I'm not an idiot.
my tiny mech I use as a scout, and I have a long range weapon on it. That way, if it sees it, it can shoot it,
Mm-hmm.
and it can also fall back before it gets shot. So, yeah, my big mechs, like I have, oh crap, what do they call it? A blackjack, I think it is, which is like a
Shagahod.
medium-sized mech. Yeah, it's a medium-sized mech. It's got 6 or 7 weapons on it,
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
and you can do a thing that's called Alpha Strike, where you have all of your weapons selected, and you just fire everything at once.
Jesus.
And
It just
my
honestly, it
God,
just
is
makes
that beautiful?
Yeah.
me. I'm just thinking of Gary Oldman in Leon, like
Yeah.
get everyone.
Yep.
It's if anyone had ever watched Zoids as a kid, it fulfills my wish of whenever someone would call out, I think it was like the blue tiger or whatever they would call it, the weasel unit, which was basically it opened every pod and shot everything at once,
Right.
and it looked really cool. That's what this does. Where you're not shooting one missile, you're shooting like 20 missiles. You got guns blazing, and you've got lasers going.
Lasers are coming from
tiny-
somewhere.
Yeah, and this tiny little tank that didn't deserve all 25 points of damage I just did to it. So
Yeah, you talk about obliterating something. You just did it.
yeah, it's great. The story for this game is kind of meh.
Yeah.
It opens up where it's coronation day for somebody, and you are a mercenary who's with their teacher who is supposed to be protecting this person, and your teacher says, I hope nothing goes wrong today.
Oh,
Which raises the biggest death flag ever, and
Yeah.
of course he dies.
I had so
No.
much left to teach you.
Wait,
Ugh.
no.
I was 2 weeks away from retirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Do
failed
you
the
get
city.
shot in like the tutorial mission as well? Just out of curiosity, like, do you get like killed and then wake up with amnesia too, just to like put a really
No,
big bow tie
the
on this?
Lazarus Project.
What ends up happening is your mech was sabotaged, so at the end, before your instructor gets killed, your mech overheats, and so you have to eject out of it, and then when you eject, basically another band of mercenaries just happens to find your pod and picks you up, and next thing you know, you're in space.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah. So, you know, as you do.
Yeah.
So, but I
Oh,
mean, going back to the customization though, like there's so much dumb stuff, like putting lasers on your head because your mech has a head. Put a
I wanna be
weapon
a
on
unicorn.
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can change the density of your armor. So
Oh, wow.
if you really want your big mech to move faster, you can trim down how much armor they have. I watched videos online that said if you get really good at the game, what you want to do is really trim down the armor on the rear part of your mech, because if you play it right, nobody should be shooting you in the back to begin with.
Right.
Yep, it's the old World of Tanks thing. Like,
Yep.
the back is the weakest point. You should
Yep.
never have anything at the back.
Right.
Now, do you want 6-inch titanium or do you want 12-inch titanium
Yeah.
on the front?
Right.
That's kind of the problem too, is that there's so many bars and sliders, and like when you just pull up a mech, it's basically, hey, this is your left arm, and there's 6 empty slots. This is your body, 4 empty slots. Your legs, 5 empty slots for
Right.
each, you know? And
Yep.
then you just do whatever, and you can add weapons, and then you can see the little bars on the left or right moving back and forth depending on how heavy they are. It's like, hey, your movement speed went
Top
down,
speed,
or
lowest
Yeah, exactly.
speed, acceleration.
Right.
and then you start
yeah.
putting on all these lasers and stuff, and it tells you, hey, this is going to generate a lot of heat if you do an alpha burst or whatever. And it's, oh my god, it's awesome.
This sounds like
Sounds
it's
so good.
100% you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
be
me,
real-
I'm not going to lie. And me too, but I need to stay away from it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to pull out a combat knife, because
Yep.
as I've said, first rule of mechs is
last
there's
mission.
always a combat knife.
Yep.
I haven't gotten that far because so far you can do melee attacks, but the way your mech is set up in the beginning is it doesn't have arms. It's got like these giant, basically rail guns where your arms should be.
Dope.
So if you do a melee attack, depending on how far away, if they're right next to the mech that you're going to melee attack, it just headbutts them, and it does a crap ton of damage.
That's awesome.
If it's really far away, it'll bend forward like a ram and just charge, and then just
Whoa.
ram into the thing.
Super cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's really great.
Oh man.
That's Battletech. My next game, couldn't remember if it was the last one or not. Code Vein.
Oh yeah.
So, I got lost in the game, even though I have a map. It doesn't. The game doesn't really show you on the map, hey, you should go here. There's not an icon or anything for that. And this game has a lot of dead ends. So I played for probably about a good 2 hours just wandering around trying to figure out where I was supposed to go. And the only hint that I have, because the game will tell you if you go back to your main base, there's a map there and it'll give you a hint, or it'll tell you what you're doing. And all it says is explore deeper into the city.
Thanks.
Every map I have is in the city, and it all says 100% explored. So what the heck? I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go back into this one area that has a hole, and there's like a bunch of these spike things that are in the hole that you can kind of fall down onto. Because you can't jump in this game. You can just fall. All right, cool. Well, there was a guy at the top of this pit who was talking about how all of his friends came down or went down there. None of them came back up, and they all have dog tags. Can you get them in the hole? Sure, why not? So I fall down this pit strategically.
This just makes me think of Dark Souls 1 with that stupid laughing guy above the thing where it's like, oh, there's an item down there. Go look over the edge, and then he just kicks you in the butt.
Well, there is, I found out as I was falling, there is a ladder to go down.
Oh no, the ladder!
But it only goes down a little bit, which leads you to an elevator, which the elevator doesn't work until you go down there. So you had to fall one way or another, and it is, like I did it several times, where you can roll to get, far enough away from your current platform to fall down to the next platform. But then there just comes a point where I don't know what is wrong with me, but I wouldn't time it right or something, and next thing you know, I'm just falling.
Right.
Yeah.
But every time I manage to land just right on the last walkway or whatever so that I can get into the area that I need to get to so I could activate the elevator.
Nice.
Cool. I don't know what happened this time. I was exploring, not paying attention. The guy kept talking about the dog tags, and I didn't come across anybody else in that area. So I'm like, well, maybe I have to fall further down into the pit. Maybe this continues into like a boss area or something. No, it just straight up kills you. All right, fine, whatever.
Ta-da!
So I have my point to go back to get my 31,000... blood codes or whatever they call them. I don't remember now.
Blood points.
Souls. Let's just call them souls and be done.
Yeah.
So I get back to the bottom entrance, and it's got the fog over it. Whoops. Which, if anyone has played a Souls game, usually that fog means that there's a boss there.
Real bad times.
But there's literally no place for there to be a boss over here. So I was kind of confused by that, and I'm like, well, okay, let's just go through the fog and see what happens. Stupid fog wouldn't lift. So my character is running into this fog, and it's not letting me walk through it. I'm like, what the heck is happening? Just as I was letting off the analog stick, it let me through the fog, and I run over the edge, past my souls, and I die again.
Yep.
And I really want to swear now, because since I died again without collecting the souls, I don't have those codes anymore. Yeah. Yep. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I will just walk around and kill things. And I did. And I got my 31,000 codes back, but I was not happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whatever. I still don't know where these people are that he wants me to get these dog tags for. I've explored all these areas. I can't figure out what he wants. Like, screw it. I am moving on, and I'm going to try to figure out where I'm supposed to be going. Turns out the butterfly boss that I fought, which I think was like the second boss that you fight in the game, there's this tiny little area that you can walk into that's on the map, but it's a dead end on the map. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of dead ends in this game, so I didn't think anything of it. I walk in there, and then the next story beat drops, and then there's an elevator for me to continue on.
Oh, boy.
Of course.
All right, whatever. So,
all right, Covain.
Yeah, I get to my next mistletoe. I can't talk right now. Nope, screw it. I can't even say it right now. Mistletoe. Nope, it's not happening. I get to my next save point. and save and quit. I'm like, all right, cool. I will come back to this. I found the new area.
Yep.
Yeah, I will come back to this. So that's it for Code Vein right now. My final game that I played was the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yes.
Because I got the deluxe edition on sale for $23 during Christmas.
Oh, it's a steal.
Yeah, and just never got around to playing it until recently.
Yeah.
And it looks nice.
Yeah. Looks crazy good. What are you playing it on? PS4?
PS4. Yep. They changed quite a bit. Like there's enough for you to know where you're going, but they've changed enough that you don't remember. They changed the surprises basically. Where the original hallway that you find the first liquor and you get the cutscene, that hallway's still there. That liquor isn't.
Nope, he is a little bit later.
Yeah, so then it kind of puts you on edge because it's like, wait, so if they change this, where is it?
Right.
And then you find it later. But so that's really cool. I like how they didn't just make everything one-to-one, that they kind of changed it up a little bit. The floor planning is... There's enough of it that's similar that you can find your way around, but they've changed and added enough to it that it makes it feel more realistic, but really not realistic because it just doesn't make sense. Why is there a morgue at the station?
Because it was a museum and police stations do have morgues.
Right.
I don't care that it was a museum because even as a museum, it doesn't make sense.
Shush. It makes perfect sense. Don't insult the game.
Maybe some, like I don't know a lot of them, but usually just hospitals do, and then they go to the hospital for that kind of stuff. So
no, so I think certain larger police stations will have them in, like they'll have an on-site coroner and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
It's really dumb.
Yeah, I haven't been to a big police station, luckily.
I'm from Liverpool, so I've been to my fair share of police stations. Let me tell you,
I have too. But so anyway, enough about my past. I am currently in the underground parking lot. I have to set up this generator to open a door. I think I already fought. What was it? I already fought Barry. I think his name was Barry Birkin once.
William.
Or William, yeah.
So for any audio listeners, we're laughing because Moonpear's wife Jess just slowly opened the door to go extract some cats out of the room.
Yeah, it's feeding time for the cats.
Right. It's also Resident Evil 2 time, so it's like creak.
Yes.
So anyway, I fought him for the first time, which that battle sucked. There's a lot of running around, and the game still sucks for that. It's not set up like Resident Evil 5 or 4. Yeah. It's close, but moving and turning around and trying to get a quick shot off still isn't great for this game.
Yeah. It feels like they did, like, I think when I talked about it on the Game of the Year show, like I specifically mentioned how like that game feels like the perfect remake because it's got just enough modern touches to make it easier to play and just enough of the original stuff to make it's what you remember the game playing like.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that thing about the reporter in the jail cell. That was pretty sweet. That was also terrifying because I thought a fight was going to happen, and I was not ready for that fight at all.
There's a couple of moments in that game where it's just like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah. Which I like. I like the fact that they throw in a lot of different suspense in the game, so it's pretty sweet. I'm going to play more of it eventually. I just got to wait for kids to go to bed and stuff.
Right.
Playing that game with headphones, that game has got... I don't know if they fixed it already. I know it got patched again, but it's got some weird audio things where everything's real quiet. And I'm not talking like horror movie, real quiet and then loud. Like there's an issue with the audio where everything's fairly stable, and then all of a sudden something just like peaks really loud.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like it's designed. Like I said, it doesn't sound like that horror movie design of it. Oh, it's super quiet. No, some of the bad guys there. It's no.
They crashed through the window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was the last game I played. Really enjoying it. I can't wait to meet Mr. X.
Oh, it's so good.
Give it to you.
Yes, he is.
I didn't have a ton of time to play stuff this week, but I did put more time into SaGa Scarlet Grace Ambitions.
1 second, let me just revert back. JRPGBS.
Part 2. I am now at the end of the second character, so I finished her second chapter, and then her third chapter was a little bit shorter than I was expecting. So I'm at the end of that, and I wasn't expecting to get there as fast, so I was a little under-geared. So I've been going around and doing some of the optional stuff around to get materials to get myself geared up. What I did discover, though, is there's some... In my first playthrough, I was doing as much optional stuff as I could, where it's like, here's this whole area, there's a bunch of hot springs here, you can use those and it seems to do something. And that was the area where I first spawned these optional bosses. And as soon as you spawn it, it shows up on the map, and it looks like just a really big flame with, like, evil-looking eyes. The game pops up a tutorial window, and it says, about these bosses, they're like infernal bosses or something like that. They have a suitably evil name. And the game is very clearly says, these are really tough. If this is your first or second or third character, we really recommend you don't fight these. Come back later, they'll be here. And I was like, okay, if you're going to pop up a tutorial message for that, you're serious, so I'm not going to fight them.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that now that I'm at the end of my second playthrough, they're showing back up in the world for the places that I've already done the optional stuff. So I thought, just for grins, I'm really powerful at this point, and every time you go to fight them, I've talked about the difficulty ratings before, where it's like easy, normal, hard. This one just says brutal. It's like, okay, well that's pretty clear.
The boss doesn't even pull out a weapon; it just rolls up a newspaper and goes, "No."
Yeah, like no, go away. So I thought, my party is really good. I'm really strong. I've upgraded all my techs. Let me just try. So, of course, I try what appears to be the hardest one. So I go in and...
and you just got out of Midgard. You think you can take on the weapons?
Right, like, how dare you? So I go in, and my party is fairly strong. Each party member has probably 600 to 700 HP, and I'm doing a couple hundred damage per attack. This boss appears to have multiple thousands, potentially tens of thousands health, so it's nearly impossible for me to fight. I didn't realize this specific boss you're supposed to lose to, and what it does is it then splits into 3 bosses that you're supposed to actually beat. Each one of those splits into 2 bosses that are really easy, and you just kind of like 1 or 2 turn those. So beat that, got a thing that I don't know what it does. It's like an infernal shard or something. I found multiple more of these bosses in other areas. Those have been a fair fight, where it's like, this is a really tough boss. You got to use all your tactics and all your strategy. You can beat them, and then they'll drop another shard. So I'm going around, and I'm finally doing a bunch of the... there's one, like, total BS area that I haven't figured out how to get around yet, but it's basically a super hot desert, and every encounter you start at half health because you're so tired from the heat of the desert. And on my first playthrough, I'm like, well, this sucks.
It's a cool concept, though.
Yeah.
You just gotta find your desert rose and you'll be fine.
Yeah, like that's sort of the fortunate and unfortunate part.
Moon's looking at me like I said something alien to him.
Well, the good and the bad thing about this game, with virtually no one playing it, is there's no walkthrough at all. There's almost virtually no information about this on the internet, which is really great because you can't accidentally stumble on, this is the bad guy, and like, here's the 5th episode after you beat 4 characters. Like, I know nothing about it.
With the spoilers and all that.
That's why JRPGs always end up on my back burner, because I know no one is going to spoil this, because no one even knows it exists.
Yeah. But when I'm going to try and figure out, like, hey, is there a way that I can get around this thing? The internet's like, I don't know, man. I just leveled up a bunch before I took on that area. So I'm playing through that area, trying to get through it now that I'm super strong, and I'm kind of having fun going and tackling all this optional content and trying to figure out, like, I've done half of a puzzle in this area. All right, now I have to go talk to everybody and investigate how to resolve the rest of the puzzle. That spawns one of these bosses, kill it, and then get another one of their shards. You can use all these important items in your inventory. I keep trying to use that item in my inventory, and they're like, you don't yet have enough. And it's like, okay, I've got 5. I don't know how many I need. But man, do I absolutely love this game. And I wish there was more for me to talk about, but it's basically, unlike a lot of the other SaGa games, it's not super heavy story focus, and there's, like I've said, you're not exploring towns and dungeons and stuff like that. It's very focused, it's very clear, and the mechanics are so strong that each and every battle, whether it's a super easy one or a boss that ends up the chapter, they're all super fun to do. So, I'm dozens of hours into this game, and I'm like, yeah, all right, let's fight some more stuff in this area. Like, I'm gonna solve a puzzle and fight some stuff. And it's just really good. It's just plain good. It's been a long time since I've played kind of a straightforward JRPG like that, where there's no asterisks to it. It's no like, well, it's really good, but there's all the baggage it comes with. It's like, here's just a good JRPG.
Well, here's a nerdy JRPG question.
Sure.
Your HP MP, does it look like it maxes out at 999, or can you get into the thousands?
I don't know yet, because it takes a really long time to get up to that point. There's no traditional leveling. You're not getting experience when you finish battles. Yeah. Every once in a while, you'll fight a battle and be like, your maximum HP is raised by 6, and your skill with an axe is raised by 1. So I don't really know, because like now I'm getting to diminishing returns, where instead of like you got 40 more HP, it's like you got 3. You just did a big battle. So probably, but at this point it's more managing. Since the battles are getting harder and harder, it's more about managing your LP, which I'm going to assume stands for life points. If you run out of those, your character is knocked out of commission for like between 3 and 5 battles. So since I have my party now, you really have to try and juggle and maximize that stuff.
True.
But they're easy to get back. And you get your health back after each battle, which is really great. It's just SaGa Scarlet Grace Ambitions is really good. I mean, 2 thumbs up for a super long title. Not the longest RPG title this year, though. We'll talk about that in releases. So let's take a break.
That tells you the difference between our cats, by the way. Because when Dwight and Sherlock are hungry, they will sit there and paw at your face.
Yeah.
And they will scratch you or bother you and be like, I need food. It's 5:30. Why is there not food in my bowl yet?
Hunger.
It's almost 7, and Louise has been asleep in the bed the whole time without complaining about food.
Just very quietly hanging out.
Yeah, she's just glad to be away from her brother, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rubber.
All right. Let's look at some last-minute news stories here. And now we can have our JRPG corner now that
I was actually going to say, so it actually used to really bother me when I was younger when games wouldn't let your characters have higher than 999.
Yeah.
But obviously I got over that.
Yeah.
Because it's just a different way of thinking about it, and I don't even know why it bothered me to begin with. I guess it felt like you were getting as high of stats, or
Yeah. I should be able to get to 4 9s.
Well, and then I start playing games like Cold Steel, where this character's got 12,000 health.
Right.
This character has 80,000 health. I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Or even Disgaea. My God, was that my downfall with Disgaea.
Right.
When I
this
found out
has 2 million health. It's like, well,
yeah,
okay.
When I found out that I could max out their level at 999.
Yep.
And then reincarnate them and finagle stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's sort of why I like SaGa Scarlet Grace Ambitions. It's like it's this really pared down experience, especially after playing something like Kingdom Hearts 3, where it's this big, giant, super well produced, like multi-billion-dollar package. It's like, no, here's a game that came out on the Vita, and you can't explore towns, you can't explore dungeons. We're just gonna really focus on puzzles on the world map and fighting, and it's gonna be a SaGa game where we actually explain stuff, which is kind of a nice change.
Yeah, those games, my god.
There are so many of them are so obtuse, and it's really nice to play this one where it's like, here's how techs work, here's how leveling works, here's one of my favorite things that RPGs do. This one has like a record of deeds or whatever it is, and it's basically, here is the last story thing you've done, this is what you did, this is where you're supposed to go next. It's like, fantastic. Sweet. Thank you, because I'm like 4 side quests deep and I don't remember what I did 10 hours ago.
Yeah, Atelier does the same thing where it's got it highlighted where there's like this whole block of text that tells you, hey, this is what you've been doing, but then where you're supposed to be going is highlighted in green. So it's like, but so-and-so decided to go to Bogan Island. It's like,
right.
All right, that's where I'm supposed to go.
Like, give me the Zelda stuff. Like, tell me, I don't want to have to worry about, I have to open up the walkthrough and highlight this. This is where I'm going next, and I'm going to go check out this other stuff.
Yeah. Well, and because like Yabinator had posted on the Discord about how he was reading the walkthrough for Cold Steel, and it says right in the walkthrough, if you don't do everything in this very first dungeon, you're not getting the platinum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I responded back, and I'm like, I don't go for the platinum because I don't like following a guide for a JRPG. Or like, unless I get stuck and I need to know something, I just like going out there and just screwing off and figuring it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, my characters aren't, min-maxed. I may not be doing as much damage as I could be or as high as a level as I can be, which that's almost nearly impossible because I always grind in those games way beyond what should be healthy. But it's like just following a guide at that point. It's like, well, I might as well just watch the video of somebody else playing it for me.
Yeah. I so rarely do that. Like, I did that for Tales of Vesperia, but it was on like my 3rd playthrough where it's like, I want to see, everyone always talks about like all these hidden scenes, and it's like I followed a guide where it's like, all right, after this town and before you go in the next town, go 10 towns back, and there'll be a brand new scene with a brand new cutscene, and then you can go back and do the, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I never would have seen that before, but it's a little. Tales of Vesperia is probably like one of the worst examples. A
lot of JRPGs though are so convoluted in how they do hidden things where it's like if you're not following a guide, you're never going to get, or you're never going to see this. Because why would a normal thinking person think, oh, it's been, I don't know, 10 hours in this game, I should go see what this kid is doing in the very first village that burnt down. It's like,
he has a new quest for you.
Exactly.
It's just like, why?
If you don't do this quest, you won't get the holy weapon to take down the demon at the end of the game. But you have to beat him in rock, paper, scissors 4 times to be able to get the quest.
Man, that's what screwed me on Dragon Quest VIII on the PS2. Like, I couldn't beat the very final, like, secret optional boss because I without realizing it, I had spec'd into the wrong, like, weapons spec at the beginning of the game without realizing that would become super important later in the game, and that version didn't have a respec option. So it's like, oh, well, crap. Oh, I'm not going to spend another 80 hours to play this, to be fair, very good game, but I'm not going to play it again.
That's the other crappy thing, too, is just, I just put all this time into the game and spec'd out these characters the way I wanted them to be spec'd out. I don't care that it's not the MMO style of, well, if you're not playing your character and doing this way, you're not getting maximum DPS. Or no, I want him to do the thing that I want him to do. That's why I spec'd him this way.
I want to use the dragon sword because it looks cool.
Yeah.
You two are such fucking nerds, by the way.
I know.
I figured your wireless may still be picking it up, but we didn't care.
That's right. JRPG fans don't care.
You abandoned us.
Okay, are you guys ready to wrap this thing up? Because it is much later than I thought.
Yeah.
All right, let's start in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of February 3rd, 2020. Starting with 2020's longest title and one of my most anticipated games of the last couple of years, Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance Tactics comes out PC, OS X, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. If you wanted a brand new Final Fantasy Tactics game, this is it. They literally took the blueprint, Xeroxed it, and just made a brand new game with the Dark Crystal skin on top of it. Job system.
They Xeroxed it and then added a whole bunch of fare.
Yeah, exactly. A lot more puppets. Unlike the political ones in Final Fantasy Tactics. Heyo. So this looks really, really good. I'm going to be picking this up day one, and it has some lofty goals to live up to, but all the previews and everything have looked really good. So fingers crossed. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus comes out on PS4. This is the Arc System Works. It's the peanut butter and chocolate for me. Arc System Works is making a Grand Blue Fantasy fighting game, so yeah.
Work for Persona.
Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, work for Dragon Ball. I mean, Arc System Works apparently is just the anime fighting game company. And good for them.
Hey, there's a niche to be filled for everybody.
That's right. Speaking of, Zombie Army 4 Dead War is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I know virtually nothing about these games. I'm just tickled that there's still more of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Sniper Elite crew who just make zombie sniper games.
Yeah, I think it is. Where it's just like, hey, it's this game, but zombies. It's like, you know what? More power to you as well. You keep making that niche.
Generally speaking, they're dumb and fun and stupid, but
yeah,
play them.
And now they have zombies in them.
Yep.
And last but not least, Knights and Bikes comes out on PS4. I believe it's on everything else already.
Hold on. Rewind. Yes. What's the name of that game?
Knights and Bikes.
Is it a kart racing game?
No, it was a Kickstarter game where like kids pretending to be knights are on their bikes, and it's like an adventure sort of hack and slashy thing. It's supposed to be really good.
You can't use the title of the game to describe the game.
Okay, so warriors on two-wheeled things.
It could be a penny weather. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. All right, let's move on to news stories. The Behemoth announces their 5th game, and it is Alien Hominid Invasion. Number one, forgot Alien Hominid was a game. That was a great game on 360.
360.
Yeah, one of like the original arcade hits. This is not a remaster or a remake. They're basically making a brand new sequel with solo, co-op, a whole brand new Alien Hominid thing.
Okay, and for the record, by the way, Alien Hominid is one of the hardest games on the planet, so enjoy that if that's your cup of tea.
Yeah. Maybe they'll make difficulty settings this time. Probably not.
No, they won't.
Yeah, no, they won't. Next news story here, a TVGP PSA about The Outer Worlds launches on Switch in March. This has a quote-unquote physical release, which is just a code in a box. So that's not the one you want. Just download it digitally from the eShop.
Is the Animal Crossing news story in the news this week?
Which one? About the new Switch?
The new Switch, but also the one island per slot per game.
Yeah, that seemed like it was getting into some real inside baseball about Animal Crossing in a way that I'm not entirely sure the details. But yeah, Nintendo has come out and it seems like the fine print seems to be about Animal Crossing that there's one island per physical Switch, not per cart. So, and not even per account. So, hopefully they will fix that, but I'm not going to be holding my breath.
Nintendo and a Nintendo.
Yeah. So, to wrap back around, word of warning about Outer Worlds didn't run super smoothly on the other consoles. So, you might want to keep an eye out for how performance is on Switch. Musim yesterday during PUP was saying that they have outsourced it to a third party to port it to Switch, so maybe they'll give it to Iron Galaxy and they'll make it run super well on Switch, but we don't know that yet. So a word of cautious optimism. Next news story here. A Fallout 76 story that is not... We haven't been talking about it lately because it feels an awful lot like beating a dead horse. But something kind of funny / great is happening right now. Something happened where people hacked Fallout 76 and just stole a whole bunch of items from a bunch of people.
They specifically stole them from the people who had signed up for the premium Fallout 76 service. Let's get that out of the way.
Yes, right. That's where it started. Yeah. So that started that whole thing. The way that Bethesda is returning the items to the affected players is really great, and I really, really dig it. What they're doing is sending an email to these individual people saying that a clone of your character from a month ago will meet you in-game to securely trade you the items that you have lost.
Oh, jeez.
I love it. I love, we're not going to roll your character back by a month. We're not just going to give you a bunch of stuff. You're going to meet yourself on a private server and trade your items with you.
The better one for that, a very good idea, better one for that is a clone of the person who stole it from you is going to give it to you, and then once you have your items back, you can shoot them dead, make them
you
beg
blow
for
them
forgiveness,
up.
so
One
on
free
and so forth.
nuke.
What's the odds-on favorite that this somehow breaks the game in a way that nobody foresees?
99%.
Well, yeah.
Nearly 100%. But I really like that there's this really clever idea of you meeting yourself and trading your items. I think that's 2 thumbs up. And last news story here, Torchlight Frontiers is being rebranded as Torchlight 3. So I don't remember if we talked about Torchlight Frontiers.
We didn't.
Okay. So that was Perfect World Entertainment. We're going to take the Torchlight universe and make a free-to-play game out of it. And they had a closed alpha a little while ago, and the overwhelming majority opinion about this game was, this isn't fun, we don't like this, you should just go make Torchlight 3. So they took all that feedback, and they did all the work, and they said, yeah, you're right, we're just going to make Torchlight 3. So they're taking this game, they're unfree to playing it, they're going to make the traditional story act structure. They're going to put a number of characters in it, put the pets in it, just make Torchlight 3, and it's launching this summer. And so it's not even like, we got to do it and then it'll be out in 5 years. It's like, no, we're going to... You guys were right. We should have just made Torchlight 3, and we're doing that. So
good on them.
Cool.
2 thumbs up. And now I'm really excited about Torchlight 3. Because I never clicked with Torchlight 2, and I loved the first one, so... Fingers crossed. Excited. All right, let's move on to questions. First up is Jimbo Jangles sent us an email. Says, hey, TVGP, Jimbo Jangles here. My question to the crew this week, what were some of your favorite cheat/secret codes growing up? Did you ever use Game Genie or Game Shark to beat or break a game that seemed impossible prior? Those peripherals were awesome when they worked. Have a great show, Jimbo.
I actually found a Game Shark at a GameStop, brand new, recently made.
Oh, wow.
I think it was for the 3DS.
Oh, I had no idea that even came out. Interesting.
I didn't know about it either. We just happened to be walking in there, and I had seen it, and I was like, I bet you this is just some dumb... And I pulled it down. I'm like, no, this is an actual freaking Game Shark.
Yeah, a brand new... Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
But yes and yes.
Yeah, I mean, we broke so many games using the one for the NES, because that's when it really took off, and it just...
I could never get them to work, but then I was much younger than you, so I was probably stupid trying to be like, I hit button and it not cheat right.
Well, I had the Game Genie with the booklet of 100,000 game codes or whatever. Yeah,
itty bitty booklet.
Yeah.
made for kids' hands. I mean, entering codes in that was just a real pain. Where it's just like, here's this code, and you have to enter it right. Otherwise, if you enter it wrong, there's just no floor textures, and you got to try again. It's just like, okay.
And that was kind of the other fun part too, was realizing that you could honestly just break the game.
Yeah, change the last character from an F to an E, and it's like, what happens? Yeah. Oh no!
Exactly. You just sit there and kind of screw around. I had a lot of free time as a kid, so you just kind of screw around and see what happens.
I turned all the enemies invincible. This is the worst.
Yeah.
Write it down in the book.
The last one I can remember using, though, it wasn't a Game Shark or a Game Genie, but it was on the... What did Silent Hill 2 come out on? Was that PS2?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. They couldn't do Game Genies for those, but what they ended up doing before all this died was they made very specific DVDs that you could pop in for games that you would run those, and then you can turn on or off certain things, and then pop that disc out and pop in the disc of the game.
That's right, yeah.
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 I think I actually still have that disc somewhere. I'm not sure. But that was one of those where I went through and I played a bunch of Silent Hill 2 and then had seen that at like a Babbage's or something before those all died.
Yeah.
And picked it up. I think it was like $12 or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot about just those.
Messed around it, and I ended up getting the alien gun because of it. Because I was so, like, I played the first Silent Hill, but it was one of those where it was like, you don't replay those games. You just live through it, and then you cry yourself to sleep afterwards.
You do your best.
Yeah. So there was I didn't know that there was like 12 different endings or whatever to all the Silent Hill games, and that they had stupid like UFO ones that you could get different items for.
Inu controlling the TV station. Yeah.
Yep. So
good.
That was my crazy thing.
Next email here is from Slick Nick. Says, hello fellas, just like to share my experience on backwards compatibility with you. Since I got the Xbox back in December, I've been trying new games with Game Pass. Yeah.
Good choice.
I've had this last week off work and wanted to play something I've never tried in the past. It was my first time playing the original Mass Effect trilogy. Ooh. At the time of the release, I didn't have an Xbox. Also, at that time, I wasn't in RPG narrative games. That reason I have no good excuse for. That's fine. That's fair. I mean,
people age, people change as they go up. I was all about 100-hour RPGs up until about 5 years ago, and I was like, no, give me a good 6-hour game, and I'm happy.
Yeah. So I got the first game from Game Pass and blew through it. Finished it in about 20 hours. Really enjoyed and was excited to continue. I looked at the store for backwards compatibility, and they were $10 each for the second and third game. Went to my local GameStop and found them for $5 each. Also got the first and second Dead Space games. Oh, man.
Speaking of good games.
Yeah. Now I'm going through the second game and really enjoying it. You can tell they had a bigger budget with it. Writing in is great. The set pieces look amazing. Also, you gotta love scanning planets and sending probes. Yeah. That's the good relaxing stuff. Looks great on the X, even for a 10-year-old game. Love how the backwards compatibility just works. I'll keep you informed once I get through the last one. Later, fellas. Nick.
Also, you got to experience probably one of the greatest moments in video game history. The Normandy Reborn.
That scene is so good.
I thought you were talking about when they went from random dice rolls for shots to actually doing first-person shots.
Don't get me wrong, Mass Effect 2 is probably the best sequel ever made. But that specific Normandy Reborn sequence will forever live in my heart as one of the best moments. The reintroduction of a character, the music, the chat, the question marks, and then that song hits, and it's just like, yep, perfect. Perfect.
Good. Nick, you needed to let us know. Are you going Rogue, or are you going... Like, what are you playing as?
It's Paragon or Renegade. Thank you very much.
Now let us know which one. Red or blue? Yep. LT or RT? Which one? Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get real technical, are you going Jedi or are you going Sith?
That's right.
Yeah.
T-Bomb Rock sends us our last couple questions here this week from Discord. With the early praise Temtem is receiving, I've been thinking about other long-standing franchises that another developer could do their own version without IP infringement. What are some game franchises that you feel another developer could bring their take in a new IP? That's a good question. I feel like Pokemon, Temtem has struck gold at exactly the right time, because people are looking for more Pokemon, and Game Freak can only make so much at once. And now they're saying, hey, here's another one that's $35, and it's an MMO, and it's just Pokemon, and it's on Steam. Go crazy.
I'll get a good one.
Look at everything that Platinum Games has done.
Yeah. Platinum take the weirdest things. Like, Platinum made probably one of the best Metal Gear games of all time.
They made one of the best Transformers games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give id Software, specifically the Doom team, the Metroid license, please.
Ooh, interesting.
Think about a more adult-orientated Metroid game with the Doom controls and that speed and some heavy-ass metal to go with it.
I was going to say, just see her cocking her arm cannon with heavy metal. Every time you flip her visor, you use your ba-dum, bump, ba-dum.
Yeah. I would want the Yoku's Island Express team to make a brand new Viva Pinata game.
Oh, that's a good call, actually.
Are
we doing it Yoku style or Viva Pinata style?
I would be interested to see like how they would mash those two styles up. Like have sort of their painterly style, but kind of in 3D, and see how that would work.
Do the dating dances become like pinball tables?
Oh my god, don't even tease me. You made a great thing better. Yeah, I just want to see more Blue Sky games, more stuff like that, where it's like we're taking
literally
something
the opposite end of the spectrum to me.
Right.
Give this cool kind of kid-friendly fantasy thing to this R-rated studio.
That's why Doom Eternal and the new
Animal Crossing.
Thank you. Are releasing on the same day. Gotta have both ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of anything else, like what franchises would do really well with someone just... I feel like it would be interesting to see the Hitman team take on something like Metal Gear Solid, where like make it such a much smaller focused game using the Hitman mechanics.
Yeah.
But maybe that's too similar.
Just one time, I would want Square Enix to make an East game. I mean,
they're like they're exchange students. It's like you get Falcom, you get Final Fantasy 16.
Yes.
We'll get East 25, whatever number they're on now.
I like how they're on 9. Okay. I like how. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it low budget, but it's not AAA. And that's fine, because that's how East games have always been, and I feel like that's how they should be.
Yeah.
But I think it would be kind of cool for Square... Aside how you feel about the company, they do a lot of good graphics.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a AAA version of East.
Yeah. What would that look like? Yeah.
Yeah. With all the zippers and
the big shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I really wish we would see more. I think you might call them anthology games. I'm not sure, but like Man of Medan would be a really great example where there's multiple episodes of Man of Medan. I wish different teams were making each episode of that game. Like the first game is made by
so something like Life is Strange, but done in the style of the Animatrix, where the Hitman team do episode 1, the Yoku's people do episode 2, and the art style changes. And
like the second episode of Man of Medan, the Amnesia team makes it, and it's like a different, super hardcore horror game. You know, it still has the same trappings and ideas, but like you get this different take on you get to pass the baton, where it's like, all right, here's what we did, and here's where the story went. Like now you get to have your own spin on it and kind of hand it off to the next team. I wish we'd see more of that stuff, because I don't think we even see a lot of that in the indie space either.
No, the thing you see in the indie space is people doing odes to their friends. Like Meat Boy has a bunch of other people in it. Like Isaac has Gish in it, and it's always just odes
Isaac
to...
has everybody in it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like an ode to this is my buddy's game kind of thing.
Yeah. Now that Nintendo has announced a new Switch SKU with an Animal Crossing skin, which looks incredible, by the way, I've been thinking about special edition console I've purchased simply because it looks cool. The Gears Xbox One X might be my favorite. For each of the big three, what first-party IP reskin console would you rebuy, and what type of design would you want? Okay, so let's start off with Nintendo.
Seriously, I wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, I don't have enough disposable income to do it. But
let's pretend money is no... Yeah.
Theoretically speaking,
let's start with Nintendo. What would be the coolest, like, specially themed Switch you could buy?
So I have a really, I don't know, Zelda. I mean, anything to do with Zelda I like, but
it's the most iconic.
I would also go with a Metroid of some sort.
Yeah.
If they can make it where somehow the Switch looks like a Metroid that you're replacing on top of something.
Right, the two Joy-Cons are like what could you do? I would almost want the Zelda Crypt of the Necrodancer. What's it called?
Cadence of Hyrule.
Thank you. I wish you could get like a Cadence of Hyrule one. Maybe it just has like lights.
It's actually Joy-Cons. That's something I will give Sony full credit for. Is they have the themes, which are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I still use my Spider-Man theme on my PlayStation 4 because there's something cool about loading it up and then having the Spider-Man music in the background. Yeah. And every time you select the menu thing, it's like...
Mine is still Firewatch after like 5 years because the theme changes with the time of day. And there are like birds flying in front of icons and stuff. It's really cool.
Mine's been Final Fantasy VII since they re-released the port forever ago. Right. It's got Aerith's theme and the menu.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda's the one for the Nintendo. Sony, oh boy.
Dude, they came out with two good ones that I almost bought when I was looking at getting a Pro. The God of War one and the Spider-Man one.
The Death Stranding one is super cool, though.
Yeah,
mostly
I wasn't looking for a Pro at that time, but yeah.
Yeah.
What could you... I feel like Sony has been the weakest of the three with special edition consoles, because like we put out one and it's red and it comes with the red controller. It's like I don't care that much. A Horizon Zero Dawn one could be kind of cool, but I'm not sure what I would put on there. Maybe the design of like that thing that comes out, like the hologram that comes out of the side of her head.
Yeah.
Have like a holographic thing on there.
I mean, the shape of the PlayStation 4, you could just stick a couple of legs on it and then make it look like one of the dinosaurs.
Perfect, yeah.
Man, they should do an anniversary edition of Dragon Quest with all the characters walking around the edges, and then you can get like a slime stand to turn your PlayStation 4 vertical.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then you can make the controller a metal slime.
I like it.
I'm here every day.
Yeah. Ready to be consulted. How about
you could bring back that slime controller from the PS2?
That's right. Monstrosity. And lastly, how about Microsoft?
I mean, I do love the Halo, the way they've designed the Halo ones. I also like that they do a lot of custom controllers. Like, they do so many custom controllers for all their games. Like, the Kate custom controller that currently on the dashboard is really cool looking.
I want the Xbox One X to be an actual Halo.
That's what I was just saying.
That you put the disc in the middle of it so it looks like it's powering up.
Just an empty ring.
And floats.
I don't care how thick that makes the Halo. Do it.
Oh, God.
You're making me buy a vertical stand eventually for the X series. Make me a GD Halo.
Yeah. I could go back to the well and say Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
Make a cool like, pastel.
The Minecraft editions always look cool as well, the way they've got like the different like textures across it with the different biomes.
Those are cool. trying to think. I'm trying to think of like what a Crackdown one would look like, and I'm not sure.
Black and neon. Come on.
That would be kind of cool if it had like neon something on it.
And when you press the button, it makes the orb sound.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Or how about every time you turn it on, it makes the orb sound?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Xbox logo is just an orb that floats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Microsoft's the hard one because, Moon, you're right. Like, they put out so many cool controllers. Like the Sea of Thieves controller was cool. The Gears controller was cool.
Like the golden tooth trigger, and it's
like
one side had a golden trigger. Like,
that stuff's really cool. I wonder if they ever do console customization like they do with controllers.
They do. There is so many like custom Xboxes out there. The issue they run into is a lot of the custom designs that they do are all S's, not X's.
Just always kind of a bummer. I mean, I get it from a marketing standpoint, but yeah. All right, well, that's all of our questions this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. TVGP.tv is where you can find us, everywhere to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Like we talked about, behind the scenes, early access, all the cool stuff, just $5 a month. There's a Game Club. We're playing This Is the Police 2. Got about 2 more weeks of that guy to wrap it up. If you're a patron, we just started a brand new game over on We Rogue Like It. Just recorded the first week of that. Brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks out on Patreon and the public feed. And I think that's it. I
don't know.
Yeah, that's enough stuff to keep you entertained. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hear my kid being really bad downstairs, so let's blow through these titles.
Sounds good.
I didn't think you could pause. It's an hour of your time. Fun for a $5. Foul language hard. It's quick. No, it's not quick. You gotta have hashtags. You failed this console. His name is Justin. I mean Jason. Well done, Paladin. Bye. See you later, balls. Quote unquote, start the party. Every time I poop myself, and X gonna give it to you.
Struggling to write these down as fast as I can. All right, Moon.
You failed this console. Press X to Jason. Gold thing spinning behind me. Super metal. Chill Golden X vibes. Hollow days. Quotation marks in mine too. Start the party. A little bit of a lot. JRPG BS. The Bouncer, not Yakuza 0. I'm in trouble. The rabbit hole just gets deeper. Great scholar, terrible wizard.
Oh man.
Giblets everywhere. Hence the oh no. Gonna give it to you. And beat that, got a thing.
Okay, and check. Alright, I have B as pause. The Great January Achievement Race. The Little Mech That Could. Foul Language Hard. You failed this console, which I put a checkmark next to. His name is Justin. Quote unquote, start the party, which I put a checkmark next to. JRPG BS, I'm in trouble, and I put checkmark next to Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard, which I really like. So my leaders are You Failed This Console, Start the Party, and Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard.
I really like Foul Language Hard too.
Yeah. My front runner is Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard.
Honestly, out of those three, probably my front runner is You Failed This Console.
Oh man. Because I really like the Jasons too.
Yeah. His name is Justin, I mean Jason.
Yeah. I think the problem with that one is that's probably a little wordy.
Yeah, it's a little long.
All right, so we got... What were we looking at?
You failed this console, Start the Party, and Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard.
I could go with Failed This Console, Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard. I really like Start the Party, especially with quotation marks around it. I just don't think it's going to read as well with the quotation marks.
I am for Great Scholar.
I'm gonna circle that one. I feel like that one is really good. Okay.
And I'm ready.
I am too.
Wow, I didn't even have to say it. You guys I like it. Ready to go. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 641 for February 3rd, 2020. Great Scholar, Terrible Wizard.
Not so spell smart.
You're a wizard, Eddie.
Not so spell smart. Jesus. All right, thank you so much. No one is watching this today because it's a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Thank you for watching the archive of this. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.